Let's fight. Let's fight. A very good evening to each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from around the world. It is so good to see you guys. We hope you are fired up and you are ready to go. Folks, it's like we're ready to get into the fight card right off the bat. We are fired up, guys, and ready to go. It's pace and power in 2022. Good to see Susan McDonald is already on YouTube, and John Cook is there as well. Pamela McKenzie is on YouTube as well. Alice Greenwich is there as well. Oren Newton on Facebook, the Blue App. Jamal Aziz follows Polly Schultz being on Facebook, and Irwin Don Cook, and all you beautiful, fantastic folks who are out there waiting ringside in the Coliseum, in the arena. Guys, we are fired up and we are ready to go. So privileged to have each and every one of you. Marsha Glasgow, Donna Liverpool, Alexis, Arthur. I see also Cameron, Augustus, Yonette Phillips, Karen McFoy, and all you other beautiful people. Welcome in the ring. Let's fight, guys. Again, really great to see each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from. So privileged to see you guys out there doing your thing, paying attention to what's happening on this side of the Atlantic. Tremendously privileged to see hundreds of you like Claire Capel, Paulette Greaves, Stacy Lewis, Letty Daniels, Pauline Chambers, Sharon Eastman, Marilyn Thomas, Joylyn Cooks, all the cooks like this pot called In the Ring. Again, really great to see each and every one of you, and we will be privileged to share this hour with no one else but each and every one of you out there on social media. Guys, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Coming up, guys, we got Rickford Burke is going to be joining us, and we're going to be joined as well by another very special guest, Shurwayne Holder, the new chairman of the PNCR. Shurwayne Holder, he campaigned hard and he got what he campaigned for. He is now the new chairman of the PNCR, and we're going to be talking with Shurwayne about some of what's happening at his end. Rickford Burke again joining us a little later on in the program. Guys, Jimmy Cliff, Laverne Lincott, Lester Williams, Glennis Mingo Byrne. You guys know when we come into the ring, we always ask you guys without apologies to share the live stream wherever you guys are joining us from. Pace and power in 2022, because you know why? The PAP still wicked, stink, and dirty. Pace and power wherever you guys are joining us from. It is our privilege. It is our privilege to have each and every one of you. Volme Wilson, Carmen Bailey, we all there. We all been. Only now we are turn up. And Beverly and Diane Graves. Zandy, good to see you. Shurwayne, right? Shurwayne, I ain't seen a little while. Shurwayne, don't dress back. Come false. Don't chinks. Sandra Facey, I see you there. Margaret Nelson, good to see you, Margaret. 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 Good to see you. Really good to see you. Wherever you're joining us from. Folks are very enthusiastic. Our fan is calling us at this hour, but unfortunately, we can't take that call. So forgive me if you're hearing some feedback there. Forgive us if you're hearing some feedback there. Forgive me if we're hearing some feedback there. Forgive me. Let me just send a quick message to them, let them know that we are on live. We are on live and we can't take the call. Yep. Guys, welcome wherever you're joining us from. And you know, guys, part of your own responsibility, if you would have it, is to share the live stream so that we can get this message far and wide, wherever you guys are joining us from. Wherever you guys are joining us from, we are so privileged to have each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Thank you so much for being part of this program. Janet Edwards, we see you there. Horace Thomas, we see you there. Arvel Blackett, we see you there. Pauline Chambers, we see you there. Gwyneth Jones, Sharmila Simeon, is it Simeon? Yep, Sharmila Simeon, good to see you as well. Stacy Stone, and all you other beautiful, fantastic folks. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend in the side chick, the main squeeze. Rickford Burke is going to be here. And also, we're going to have Shurwayne. Hold up, guys. I am ready, less than else, to get into the fight card. I don't know about you, but I am fired up. And I am ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Volmay Wilson, Melinda McKenzie, Sheena Hazel, Elizabeth Williams. Good to see each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from. We are privileged, and we know that you guys are going to share the live stream as well. I don't know about y'all, but I am so happy, so fired up, ready to go, ready to get into the fight card. Folks, we're telling y'all in 2022, we got to fight some people. We can't reason with them. Rupert August, we can't reason with everybody, you know. Sharma A. Court, we cannot negotiate. We cannot talk with everybody. Some people, you got to fight them. You got to fight them. Plain and simple. Shun it. Onika Light, good to see you there. Wendy Andrews, all of you fantastic folks. Roxanne Liverpool, Elizabeth Williams, great to see you. We love having each and every one of you guys in the ring with us, in the Coliseum, in the arena. Welcome. Shion Leach, good to see you as well, guys, wherever you are joining us from tonight. Wherever you are joining us from tonight, guys, share the live stream. We there. we there. Next thing you know, we name getting called. You know, we always say, if your name being called for good reason, you don't have to worry. And so we need to worry, you know. You see, folks, when you're in this business, politics 101, when you're in this business, your name is going to be called plenty. You don't always have to answer, though. You don't always have to answer, but your name going to be called steady. We there. Carla Washington, Stacy Stoll, Robin Narain, Diane, is it some real fancy names here at our end? Abiola, Samantha Jilt, Samuel Henry, we there, Carnado. We don't pick trouble. We are so uncontroversial. I said touch boy. You understand? This month, you know, if you guys are in the Assemblies of God church, the church, like I am, is a month of prayer and fast. You understand me? So I am a Connors, Marlon Cox. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Kim Clark, Charlene Juice, at Tendre. Happy New Year. Happy 2022. Pace and power. We there. And we carrying up. Next thing you know, folks, our name getting called. I said church boy, you know. I don't like problems. I don't like controversy. I am a corner. That's how I was born and raised. Be on your P's and your Q's. It's took and came around some people. Nadia C4, I see you out there. Karen Thorne. Folks, you see, you got to behave like a virago. As your people will say, we there. And then we name getting called. I am all in. People say, stay in your lane. Amanza said, you know, we got pace and power as our team. MP Amanza Walton, this year she said, hold of focus in 2022. That's what we're trying to do in we own lane. Pace and power. We only, and we name getting called. Hollis, why didn't call it your name? Carl Miller, why didn't call it your name? Carl Miller, I call it your name. Carl said, why you call it my name yet? Samantha Jill, we call it your name. Auntie Sandra Hanover, you name getting called too. Vanessa De Silva, name getting called. All sort of fast people on this live tonight. Y'all sharing the live. Folks. I am uncontroversial. Anybody tell you I controversial? All I doing is watching what's happening in this country. Watch what is happening in this region. I'm watching what is happening in this world. And I just bring some of that to you, you know. If I hadn't this show, I would just be doing the very same thing. Looking at events, making note, and in my own little way, assimilating what I'm saying. And I just bring that information. We just bring that information to you guys on a daily basis. Right? Without the big humongous green screen behind us, all of the flashy graphics and so on, jacket and tie, same person all the time, hold the focus, I'm all in. we there, people, and we name getting called. But I tell you, if your name getting called for good reasons, you got no problems at all. You ain't got no problems. If your name getting called for good reason, you don't got a problem. You don't got a problem. And so we were on social media today, and then we saw a video. We saw a video, and we say, wow, look how people got me down. I can shock some y'all now. We say, look how people got me down, Florette. And Florette will be corner. Laurel Jones, look how people got me down. Carol Thorne, Lester Williams, look how people got me down. Janet Edwards, Gene Bond, Pace and Power in 2022. Look how people got me down. We there, boom. Jumbie Lash, left, right, and center.
Hey, I Tate. Cadbury is a bright banner, you know. Watch me eye. You understand? And they're telling me it's either they're lying or this country bad for truth, you know. And why they thinking, you understand, this government got to do something about it. And change it up, you understand? Or else we can take this to the streets and protest. And protest for the rights, man. Listen, or I can have to open a Facebook page and do a Facebook show like Cheryl Duncan or a radio show like Glenn Lal. And then...
Tiki-taki them like Glenn Lal.
Hey, shut your mouth, boy. What clap your body? I sit down, boy.
We there. And we name calling on all kinds of things. I tell y'all, we out here and we name calling. Folks, if you have other videos out there where you see me name calling, be sure to send us the link. If there are other videos out there, guys, where our name calling, be sure to send us the link. Karen Clark, if you see a video out there, you 10 the grand, you all have a responsibility, Savitri Rose. If you all see videos out there where our name being called Petula Boyce, I'm holding you all responsible. If your name being called some places, if you see our name, you hear our name being called, you understand, you have a right to alert us. Folks, moving on in the fight card, we got important matters to discuss. Very, very important. Matters of state. Stories loaded. A lot of stories loaded. Folks, we can't process everything in this 1 hour show, you know. And that is why we post so many stuff on our Facebook page. We are activating our website on a more meaningful basis now as we get into the new year. So much things come across our desk here on a daily basis. Stories loaded. We are hearing that the staff at NCN upset. The staff upset. Nia Suban, your name calling. My name calling too. What we can do? This is the country we're living in. Everybody name calling. Rusham, your name calling. Face cut. Your 10 the grand. Kim Walker, your name calling. The very same way. Nia Suban name calling. Look, folks. You think Nia's having a brush with COVID? And he has told his whole country. He said he came close during COVID to the other side. He started seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. He started seeing it. He said he came close. You would think that Nias would go about life differently. But we're being made to understand there's a lot of harassment. A lot of harassment happening at NCN. And the staff said they're sick and fed up. And more of them are contemplating resignations. More of them. Now, the latest thing the staff said, they used to get a leave passage. When they're going on leave, it's like a no-brainer. When you're going on leave, you get a leave passage. The thing speaks for itself. I'm forgetting now the Latin phrase. The thing speaks for itself. See why I gotta keep reading? The thing speaks for itself. Leave passage, you go to leave, you get a little money. Now they're saying, when you come back from leave, the people don't get the plans. Lots of staff don't get the plans. You know what this economy doing? We know and we understand. Wilton Blue, ICU, Lisa Remy, Renaissance Thomas. We know how the economy is shaping up. And so people there, depending on the frack. And now Nia Suban and the other jagabats there at NCN, changing up the policies, just like that, you know. Just like that. Like this money's their own. The people signed on to a certain kind of policy down there at NCN. Come on, guys. Do the honor, give the people the little money, man. When you all look about this country, you all see what happening? The people instead of going and leave, they're going to relax, recharge, refine, and come again stronger on the professional job. Oh, they decide instead of, a small bag of tennis show, they're going to leave with this extra money, they can buy a big bag of rolls now. You're denying people. You're taking bread out of people's mouth. A lot of stories loading, folks. And this is one of them. We can't cover every single thing in this one now. We could be on easy here for 5-6 hours, just going through issue after issue of the day, pertinent matters. You see now, we got to come begging for people working for the state. We working for the state, but we got to come now begging because the state treating people so bad. This installed catfish regime treating people so bad. We got to come back now and come and beg for them. Give the people what is due to them, guys. COVID, folks, I remember some time ago, Kaicho News, Peeping Tom, he said, get your fears in order. He said, how them boys managing COVID-19 in this country. Lily Paul, Abigail Othleen Prasad, Dion Ayanda, Bibi Sandy Ford, Lexi Boss, Leslyn Alves, Sam Van der Trop. Get your fears in order. How them boys managing COVID? We don't know if we coming out. Y'all know if y'all coming out. Lawrence Stewart, you know if you coming out. Horace Lowe, is it Dickman? Hollis Lowe, Dickman. We don't know if we coming out. So there was Kaicho News Peeping Tom saying, get your affairs in order. Folks are getting worse on the ground here. And we said just yesterday in our broadcast, the best resolution the Minister of Health could make, the installed Minister of Health, is resignation. The best resolution Frank could make. Frank, your name calling. And not for good reasons. I heard my name calling today and I told you all how. And again, if you got videos and saw where my name calling, share it with me, man. Why y'all stay like that? Frank name calling because COVID, folks, ain't getting better at all. It ain't getting better. 485 new cases today. Just today, 485 new cases in the last 24 hours. Folks, that is troubling. Folks, that is tremendously troubling. You think the 400 come from that Kashif and Shanghai activity in Linden? You think so? Director Sports holding big party with no COVID measures being followed? You think this number coming from when big meeting happening all over the East Coast and hampers being shared out? You think this is where some of these COVID numbers coming from? 485. 485 in 24 hours. Guys, I have lost track with what the national numbers are, but I'm assured it's well over 45,000 confirmed cases. Since this installed regime took office August 2nd, 2020, they were greeted with only 474. It is now well over 45,000, not 4,500, 45,000 confirmed cases. The deaths were 21. When they took the reins of power illegally installed, now there were 1,000 deaths. And just today, in 24 hours, 400. I might be wrong, but this looks like a new local record. 485 confirmed cases in just over 24 hours. Frank, the best resolution Frank could make is resignation. Coming up, guys. Coming up, we said we have Rickford Burke is going to be joining us, and we're also going to be joined by the new chairman of the PNCR, Shurwayne. Hold up, folks. We turn our attention to all the issues. Look what's happening again on the COVID front. It's a crisis, and we have been chronicling that on our end. Priya saying, even though you have this spike in COVID numbers, no more teaching online. She said, we've been too nice to y'all teachers. No more teaching online. Everybody got to come back to school. The Minister of Health installed Frank Anthony. The square peg in the wrong hole. Or the wrong peg in the square hole. Frank Anthony is telling us there's a spike in COVID. Frank Anthony is saying to us, Omicron is here. Omicron is here on the ground. Omicron is circulating. Priya said no more online teaching. You see these people want to kill me out? It is kill these people want to kill us out. Get your affairs in order. Quote unquote. Peeping Tom. Hollis London is you trying to get rid of between having it. Volmay Wilson, Tonya Cummins, is you the one get rid of, but we ain't have it. It's kill Priya them want to kill us out. Dan Fordyce, Gwyneth Jones, Volmay Wilson, it's kill they want to kill us out, but we ain't having it. We big, but we ain't stupid. So Priya is telling us no more online learning. No more online learning. Yep. COVID going up, Omicron circulating, but we're going back to school. That's a no-brainer. COVID numbers going up 485 just today. No more online learning. We beg, Priya. Priya, we beg. Roxanne Odessa Jacobs, we beg. But we ain't stupid. Volmay Wilson, we beg, but we ain't stupid. Margaret Craig, we beg, but we ain't stupid. James Bond, we beg, but we ain't stupid. Michelle McKay, we beg, but we ain't stupid. Florette Jacob Swart, we beg. Kwesi Moffat, we beg, but we are not stupid. We ain't Pagally. Janet Edwards, we beg. Rowena Williams, we beg. Samoa Williams, Ollie Williams say, we beg. But Priya, we ain't stupid. People behaving like wild hog out there, you know. A lot of people behaving like wild hogs out here. Pinky Vaughn, is that you? Priya, a lot of people behaving like wild hogs out here. We beg. Still on the COVID front, folks. Still on the COVID front. A lot of things happening. Bishops. The Bishops High School. Alarmy place with Bishop Sherrod. I used to date a girl from Bishop's years ago. She made me to understand it's not Bishop's High School. She said, don't come wrong with funny. The relationship didn't last too long, folks. She said, it's the Bishop's High School. I said, girl, if you say so, the Bishop's High School is recording a number of students and teachers. Positive. Same people. Priya hauling out from online learning to face-to-face learning. A number of people. And this is just one of the places, ladies and gentlemen, from around the world, is just one of the schools registering a number of COVID positive persons, students and teachers. On our Facebook page just this afternoon, we said the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, nurses, doctors, orderlies and so forth, over 126 persons COVID positive. And we're seeing more and more, school after school, in the national capital city and on the outskirts, in the interior, COVID students. Ministry of Education itself, 21 breakdown. We learned just today, the whole personnel section had to be fumigated. Somebody, there are a number of persons in the personnel section of the Ministry of Education have come down COVID positive, and lots of the staff call us. They said they came and they fumigate, and the other persons had to go home. But not the personnel staff. Was it the personnel staff or the accounting staff? Either of the two. But they were concerned because they said to us, the staff in the particular department or the staffs in general were interacting with the entire populace there at the Ministry of Education. So folks, it's a no-brainer. If the Ministry of Education cannot even keep its own staff safe, then keep we safe. I got a presentation. That's what he says. Then keep we safe. That makes sense. We beg, Priya. We beg, but we ain't stupid. And so we got a lot of reports today. It's not one person, not two, not three, not four. A lot of reports today that students and teachers at the Bishop's High School. Priya, what's the plan? What is the plan? You know, we told them this thing wasn't thought out, but then checking listening, you know, then checking listening. Here we are. What is the plan? Photo of the day. Yesterday, photo of the day getting problems. This part of the program becoming problematic. This part of the program getting problematic. With that I say, folks, if you all see videos out there and photographs where we name calling, alert us, the man. Alert us. Photo of the day. This one had us. First day of school. It's not the kind of photo you think it is. First day of school, folks. First day at school. This is St. George's High School. Run by the cathedral there. St. George's High School. First day of school. It's not the end of the term. Folks, which part of the world you are joining us from? Which part of the world you guys would see this kind of thing happening? This was assembly, you know. We cropped the photograph so you can see what we really want to show you. But this was the assembly. Folks, we're learning that between December 28th and January 2nd, there were 941 cases of COVID-19 locally. Between December 20th and January 2nd, 941. You add today's 485, and you understand where we are. And students are being called out from online learning to face-to-face learning. This is the first day of school. This is the morning. Is that the afternoon? It was the morning and not the evening of the first day. Genesis 1:1. It was the morning and not the evening of the first day. And this is the school. This is St. George's High School. This is not in Timbuktu, you know. There's nothing in Rosignol. This is not in Cameron, where garbage disposal might be difficult because, for obvious reasons. This is right in the national capital city. Folks, y'all sharing this live stream. These guys will run a whole government. Prayer will run a whole ministry. And look garbage. Look garbage. In 2020, I tell you, we got to up things in 2022. It's no longer Cheryl, it's charade. It's no longer garbage, it's garbage. Ali said we're doing big things in 2022. Clive Jackson, this is not, you know, some far-flung African countries. Y'all is past the Africans. That's number one. Let me put it out there. Y'all is past the Africans. This is St. George's. It is bordered by Church Street and North Road. Right by the cathedral. State House is around the corner. Right? Samuel Hines' cousin, Mark Phillips, house, right around the corner. Ministries, right in this jurisdiction here. Don't come wrong with funny. First day of school, you see the children got a bag on. This is the assembly happening in the schoolyard. Look what we say. These guys will run the whole country. God help us. God help us. Folks, the people wicked, stink and dirty. And disrespectful. This is what they want to get with cheering in. They're ready. They had a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4. Now we're going back to face-to-face learning. This is the school compound. Pray one run the whole ministry. If one run the whole country, Isabel Buttress, Kwana Mingo, Volme Wilson, the whole country. Folks, take shame out your eyes and share the live stream now. Take shame out your eyes. One of my guests are already in studio. Let me hasten on. It's whole country, you know. These people think it's a cake shop. But it's a whole country. They want to run. That is St. George's. Photo of the day. Guys, spotted. You know, this is where we see people who we know. Right? People with a little name recognition and so on, doing something special, maybe spotted. You understand me? So like when we see Rickford Burke out in Manhattan at, what's the place, the first daily shop? The expensive store, man, in Manhattan there that just buy all the Prada bags and the 40,000, the 5,000 US shoes and so on. That fancy store. Y'all know the place, man. That fancy, expensive place. When we see Rickford, you know, trips in there and we spotty, he coming under this subheading here. Spotted. Right? We got another subheading. A lot of people got problems with, you know, Hamper Nation. Right? But when we see Hamper sharing out, that's the subheading we put it under. But when we see the Rickford and so on, and the other big ones, the big ones like Marilyn Thomas and O'Neill, Vanessa Yonette, and Claire Marie and so on, when we spot the big ones, we give you all a shout in here, spotted, we see you. That's what we're really saying here. We see you. Look who we spot recently. And we want to tell you who this couple is. We were so thrilled with this photograph because we think that this is the future of where this country should be heading. I love it. You understand me? If you listen to me, if I didn't marry you already, I'll head down there quick. So congratulations are going out and are being extended to Guyana Chronicle Assistant Chief Photographer Delano Williams. And Delano's a fantastic person, beautiful spirit. Worked with the guy in the past, nice, quiet gentleman, good work. Right? He does better work than Philip Williams where photography is concerned. Who don't know? And his wife, Bibi, according to what we saw on social media, this was capturing them after they would have completed what is called Nikah, the Nikah ceremony last Sunday. And we thought that this was a real gem of a photograph. And this is where we should be really and truly heading as a nation. But we got a lot of hateful, spiteful people in this country. A lot of them on the string right now talking a whole set of crap. But I know Ringside is going to deal with them. We love this photograph. And so we say, congratulations. Big congratulations are extended to Delano Williams, the assistant chief photographer there at Guyana Chronicle. You know, since I left them, they turned the Chronicle, but it is what it is. And his beautiful wife, Bibi. His beautiful wife, Bibi. We love this. We need more of it, you know. We need more of it. I know some of you are watching me strong, you know, but I'm married already. I have the market, so y'all cut it. Like Rickford, on the other hand, who's coming up there? He can talk for himself when he come. Right? Signs of the times, folks. Let's get on to it quickly. Signs of the times. Wherever you guys are joining us from. Another sad moment. And a not so happy moment for this rather newly married couple who were found this morning with gunshot wounds to their bodies. It was initially suspected that they might have been killed by someone or some persons. But later on in the day, as the information kept coming in, we saw that it was being deemed as a possible murder-suicide. And so we're still following this one. This was up on the east bank of Demerara, a murder-suicide suspected with this newly married couple. And again, our thoughts and prayers go to their friends and family, all those who love them, including the community which they hail from. Our thoughts and prayers. Signs of the times, folks. Signs of the times. That being said, moving swiftly, quickly ahead. Ashley Singh, he promised a path to recovery, economic dynamism, and resilience. How they going? How they going? Are we there yet? Rickford, are we there yet? Rickford, we there yet? A pathway to recovery. Oh, we're more deep in it now. We're more deep in the miasmic matter, economic dynamism, economic dotishness, and resilience. West side, are we there yet? Oh, every Guyanese can answer that question. Things tight. Things tight. Leroy Pans ain't got nothing on these things at the times. It tight. Dear that in there. And Leroy Smith Pans together. Can't be tight like things in this country. Cannot. Things tight, folks. What part of recovery? Economic dynamism and resilience. Just today we're seeing bread prices gone up. Rickford, they went up last year. And whatever bread you had for your pepper pot, that is the last bread you're going to be having for the year. Whatever bread you had with your pepper pot, right? Taste it and toast it goodbye. It's the last bread you had for the year. Vendors at the market saying it's not their fault. It's the catfish install regime that don't know nothing but governance. Things tight. Redford, you got to start selling bread from my you, and I know things there. Rather thing, you got to pack barrels of bread and sell it. Things tight. They're talking about Burnham ban flour. Might as well they ban flour because bread's expensive. And they're banning it by other means. Things tight. Rickford, bread prices gone up. Shurwayne Holder is backstage. Shurwayne, whatever bread your wife buy and cook and bake during Christmas, that's the last one you eating by. Things tight. Things tight. Rickford, listen to me. If you want to send a little remittance for help subsidize bread costs, if you want to, people, my brother, go right ahead. So these are some of the issues we're following and moving quickly. Justice is what we want. Justice is what we need. You know, they said no stone unturned. Ali said about the Henry Boys too. Or in Boston, family still waiting for justice. And now they're telling us that the DPP is examining the file on the police shooting death of a Essequibo businessman or in Boston. How long is it to examine one file? Huh? This file is a 10-ton volume. Delaying tactics. Huh? a number of persons have met their demise under suspicious circumstances since this installed regime coming. Folks, y'all better share the live stream. A number of persons, Cecile Sampat, Shurwayne Finley, Peter Headley, we haven't forgotten them. And then Oren Boston, the latest victim, a number of persons, the PPP come back. Things tight, people. Things are tight. Folks, we're heading on swiftly, quickly, because we have our guest with us. And so we head into the main event. Folks, without any further, I want to give to you guys Rickford Burke and the one and only Shurwayne Hole, the newly minted, I beg your pardon, chairman of the PNCR. Rickford, welcome and a very good evening to you. Good to see you. Shurwayne, welcome as well. Good to see you.
Good night, Sharon. Happy to be on your program. Rickford, good night.
Happy to have each and every one of you. Rickford, unmute the mic, man. Unmute the mic. Come on. Shurwayne, listen to me.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How are you doing?
Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. Shurwayne, let me tell you up front, whenever Rickford come here, it's problems, you know. They try to shut down the airwaves, they're blocking off streets for miles, bulletins are issued. So I tell you that up front, your name might get called tonight. I like the names calling, your name might get called tonight.
Tell me
I know Rickford is my friend, man. We good.
Fantastic. Well, let's start with Shurwayne. Since Shurwayne is the newly minted chairman of the PNCR, folks, wherever you're joining us from around the world, feel free to share the live stream. Shurwayne, how things are going at your end. You campaigned very hard. You would have won this very coveted position of chairman of the PNCR, People's National Congress Reform, at the 21st Biennial Delegates Congress. You're in the seat now. The seat is no longer vacant. You know, in Latin they say sedi vacanti. The seat is vacant. You have filled that seat. What's happening at your end?
First of all, let me say I'm quite humbled to be selected or be elected as the chairman of the party. You know, it's a huge task, and as I said to some of the comrades just a few days ago at our meeting, I said that, you know, I have some big shoes to fill. And so, you know, that process has begun. Things are going, I would say things are moving along pretty well in terms of our internal politics. We're looking at, you know, policy positions, some clear policy positions being discussed at the moment. I believe our new leader is leading from the front. He has been very democratic. He's been very inclusive. So I would say that things have been going well so far.
Fantastic. Rickford, you're out there. You wanted change. Did you get what you wanted? You wanted change, Rickford. What are you going to say now?
Well, I respect the wishes of the members of the PNC. I didn't have a vote. I'm not a member of the party. I'm an observer. I'm a supporter. And so I am willing to work along with the people that were voted in these very positions in the best interest of the PNC and coalition support base. And let me congratulate my friend Shurwayne on his election as the chairman of the party. And I wish him Godspeed. I hope that he will get the wisdom and commitment that is needed to chart a new course for the party. He said he has big shoes to fill indeed, and we hope that he will fill them well. I know he's a short guy, but he's going to do tall things for for the party. And I hope that as he labors in the vineyard of politics for the country at the national level and for the party, that he'll be able to fulfill his mission and his mandate and bring change for the people and for the country.
Yep. And you know, I know that like you, Rickford, Shurwayne is going to do great things there. And I'm so happy to see my brother elevated. There must be somebody carrying your umbrella these days, Shurwayne. That being said, you know, we've come into this new year here. We've come into this new year. It's the same old PPP. Unfortunately, Rickford, it's the same old PPP. Then done in. We got done them, Rickford.
Exactly. Well, you can't change a leopard. Leopard can't change its spots. The PPP is a racist party. Racism is the underlying philosophy of the PPP. And not only is their political philosophy, it's now their governance philosophy. And so what we're seeing is the wholesale transfer of the wealth of the country from the state to the PPP and their supporters. And I think in 2022, that will be the main mission that should be the main mission of all of us, to make sure that there's equitable governance in the country. And I'm pretty sure that's what Shurwayne and his colleagues were doing in Parliament when they tried to stop the PPP from enacting legislation that gives them the authority to steal the people's money. And if you notice, the precursor to that piece of legislation, that failed piece of legislation that was not lawfully passed, the Natural Resource Fund Act, the Attorney General and Jagdeo, I think, had outlined pending legislation or legislation in draft where they want to make it illegal to disclose anything with regard to the oil fund. And that is because they don't want people to expose their teeth. Right. And so we have to fight all of those bills, because now the world is moving towards more transparency, not less transparency. So the PPP is fighting, you can't disclose anything with regard to the oil fund. They want to make it a felony to leak information about to basically be a whistleblower. They want to outlaw that. And now they want to make sure they pass laws that gives them the right to steal the people's money. And like I've always been saying, the money is in New York, which means they could be investigated by the Manhattan District Attorney, the New York State Attorney General, and the Justice Department if there's public corruption with regard to those funds. And I'm pretty sure they might want to move those funds out of New York very shortly, and they'll have to come back to Parliament. But also, let me say this. We must fight their racism. Yeah. And they like to say those of us who are exposing racism are racist. But we don't have the power to implement institutionalized racism in a country. We don't have the power to determine who gets COVID relief grants and who gets flood relief grant. We don't have the power to fire 3,000 people. The PPP does. And the PPP is institutionalized racism in Guyana. And they're using their position in government to divide the country. They're the ones that are dividing the country. They're the ones that are inciting racial hostilities and inciting a riot in Guyana, because obviously this is going to lead to some sort of social conflict when you shut out people from development. You shut out whole populations from economic survival, basically. And so we must confront them in 2022. We have to fight for equitable governance. We have to fight to make sure that there's equity in the allocation of government contracts. We have to fight to make sure that there's justice for our people, racial justice. We have to make sure that there's equity in terms of house lot distributions, land distributions, oil and gas projects. There must be equitable government. And that will be our fight in 2022.
Exactly. You know, Shurwayne, the leader of the PNCR, did a fantastic job, we thought, in his New Year's address. And we would have been through that address here on our program, whether it's a podcast, during lunch, or on the program here, the substantive program. A fantastic New Year's address, you know, really outshine catfish. I mean, anybody with any sense would outshine catfish, right? But it was a fantastic, we thought it was as a state of the nation address there. But in that address, we may have read it wrong. It seems to be giving them guys a fair chance. They say, I'm approaching you with a clean slate, but don't come around me funny. Is that the case?
Yes, I think the leader did an excellent job in his presentation. He's a fantastic politician. He has, this year would mark 50 years in practical politics. And also, you know that he taught politics at the university level. So he's a well-learned politician. And when you compare him to what is on the other side, I don't believe, I wouldn't even want to mention Irfan. You know, I believe that
Irfan is Irfan.
I would never mention him. I don't think he can match Norton at any level. His name shouldn't even be mentioned in that category. Jagdeo is the real person there. We know Jagdeo is the real mover.
I'm very afraid, Jagdeo, very afraid of Norton, very.
I was getting to that point. It is very, very clear that Jagdeo is afraid for whatever reason. He's afraid of Norton. For example, Norton went down I believe it was down Regent Street. Within another 10 minutes after that, you saw Jack Deere run into Regent Street. Norton was on a program speaking, speaking on national issues. 10 minutes later, you see Jack Deere on Critic. So it is very, very obvious that he's afraid of Norton. Throughout this campaign, we had that sense. I think the Guyanese people felt it on both sides. And so I believe that the PNC is at a very good place at this point. Of course, we have our work cut out for us.
Yeah.
Rickford was on the money there with his comments, especially in terms of what has been happening in the country and the behavior of this old PPP. One would have thought that they would have learned their lesson after losing the election in 2011 and losing it in 2015. But we know what happened. We know the kind of support they had from the international community. We know we're now an oil-rich country, and we know how the politics plays out in that regard. But we're seeing a shift, a great shift for these last couple of months, at least in the last year that the PPP has been in office. You would notice that a number of key players are turning against them. The media seem to be going in a different direction. Known activists are sounding their voices.
Yep.
So it is really puzzling as to why they're still going in the direction that they're going in. Sherrod, they created that condition for what happened in Parliament. Well, you were there. They created it. They came
by a speaker.
Yes, of course. In the beginning, they're good with this propaganda. So they started on this propaganda that the bill is not a legal bill, or was not a legal bill, that we passed through the Parliament in 2019. But they failed to, and they premised that on the fact that there was a no confidence motion, which eventually we know how the court ruled. But no court ever pronounced on that bill. A court never made any decision on that bill. And if you look at what the court said in terms of Charandas, I mean, I'm no lawyer, Rickford is a lawyer. But if you look at what the court said, yes, the no confidence vote was deemed valid, but the court also said that Charandas was illegal in the Parliament.
He was a fraud.
Yes, he was an alien in the Parliament. And so, but no action was taken against him. And so in that same regard, all the bills that were passed, whatever laws that were made, are valid unless a court ruled differently. And so it's just propaganda. But that is what they started with. And then we come
judge and jury.
Yes, exactly. And then we get to the position of the actual bill. I'm getting a little feedback, Sharon.
Let me turn off a couple of mics here.
Now,
right here, Shurwayne.
I believe that as a party, we've got to do a lot more to let these issues be vented out there and let the general populace understand the issue at hand. Because I still, I communicate with a lot of people on the ground. People are still asking me what exactly happened in Parliament and why we took that particular course of action. So it says to me that persons out there still don't know, still don't have the facts, and still don't know exactly why we did what we did. So it's our task to get, develop a proper PR system so that we can, put the facts out there against that propaganda machine that the PPP has. You know the case with the bill. They sought to remove the guardrails that we put in place as a government. The 22-man commission that we put that would encompass civil society and the opposition and the entire country to safeguard our oil money. You know what they're replacing it with? Some board or something of the sort that would be appointed by the president. So it's a yes man board that will basically, there's no oversight. There would be an absence of oversight there. But that is what the PPP wants. That is what they love. That is the kind of democracy that they like. You know, I said in my presentation that democracy is a word that shouldn't be spoken by the PPP. Your mic, Sherrod.
Folks, we're in this new year. Catfish said that we're going to have big things in 2023. He said big things, exciting times coming. But yet we see increase in bread price. Increase in bread price. What's your outlook for 2022, Rickford, under this Catfish install regime? What is the outlook?
Well, it seemed to me that there is a creeping inflation going on in the country, and one of the reasons why the that bill that regulated the act, it is an act because I think that's still the operating law, the Natural Resource Fund Act, had put in place the guardrails that Shurwayne just mentioned, including the macroeconomic committee, to analyze all of these indicators to make sure that there's not inflation, to make sure that we have enough money flowing out, that more money flowing in than is flowing out the account, to ensure that there's sustainability. And I think what's happening in Ghana is creeping inflation. It could be as a result of the supply chain, which we're having a problem with all around the world. But in terms of the outlook, I'm optimistic for 2022 for a number of reasons. One, I think the international community is beginning to see the atrocities of the PPP, their massive public corruption, and their racism. I also think that the leadership change that we'll see in the party will augur well for confidence in the party, and supporters will want to make sure that they get involved in political activism now. Of course, as Kadaki Amsterdam just said on a previous program, there was some level of apathy with regard to, that's putting it nicely, with regard to the prior leadership of the party. On the international stage, I think we here will continue our political activism to make sure that we fight for racial justice, that we fight for equality, that we fight to make sure that there's true democracy. Shurwayne just mentioned that they like to play around with the word democracy. And their democracy is limited to their propaganda about free and fair election. But democracy is far more than free and fair election. And I don't think we've had free and fair elections in the last election,
Definitely.
which was on March 2nd, 2020. But free democracy has a lot to do with respecting the inalienable rights of the citizenry, ensuring that there's good governance, ensuring that there's public accountability for the people's money, ensuring that there's freedoms and liberties that are enshrined in law, that they are respected and not infringed. And the PPP cannot say that they embrace any of those. And I continue to condemn the fact that representatives of the international community in Guyana condone and are complicit with the atrocities and the bad governance and the corruption of the PPP. I just noticed that on World Corruption Day, a few weeks ago, the American ambassador made a very weak statement about public corruption, when we know that Dr. Clive Thomas did a study on corruption under the PPP. And his study led him to conclude that between 2001 and 2008, Guyana lost $1 billion to public corruption from the PPP. To be exact, $940 million. Just those 7 years. And then he did another study that showed from 2010 to 2012, Guyana lost $443 billion to PPP corruption. And out of that money, $188 million was through procurement fraud, which is the award of contracts. And that's why we're saying that there needs to be equitable governance in the country, because what we're seeing is the PPP through these acts of corruption, particularly procurement corruption, where they're giving out contracts to their people who are not even qualified, and they're getting kickbacks from it. And they're shutting out the Afro-Guyanese and Amerindians and East Indians that don't support them. They're shutting out those people from economic survival and the development of the country. And we can't allow that to happen. And so it's important that as we go through 2022, the Guyanese people must become politically involved. They must become, everybody needs to be political activists.
Correct.
You can't
Correct.
depend on you guys, members of parliament alone, to go in there and create hell. The people will have to come out on the streets and create hell. And when I say create hell, I mean political hell. They can go and say Rickford Burke is advocating for violence. What I am advocating for, though, is a revolution against PPP racism. And every race in Guyana should want a revolution against PPP racism. And we want to see it this year. The people of Guyana must rise up and confront PPP racism. And when we talk about rise up, we talk about a mountain of an avalanche of political activism to make sure we shut down PPP racism, strip it from the nation. Racism and apartheid governance have no place in the modern world. Racism is now the world's most, the world's most horrible atrocity.
Correct.
It led to slavery and it led to the Holocaust. And if it's not contained and stopped in Guyana, it's going to lead to civil unrest.
Correct. Fantastic. Shurwayne, what is your outlook 2022 with these jagabats where they are?
Well, I think Rickford put it, formally, put it over formally. We've seen the behavior of this administration over the last year, and up until the very last day of 2021, we've seen their behavior. We saw their behavior in Parliament, refusing to take an important bill as the Natural Resource Fund, the people's money. That is what I like to say. The bill concerning the people's money, the safeguards for the people's money, and we saw that attitude towards that. So the outlook for 2022 is very bleak. Again, I would hope that the international community would step up their game. They have been relatively silent. They have been, and this has been worrying for me. I was giving it some thought for several days now. Why the international community has been so silent on what the PPP has been doing, their mismanagement, the discrimination, the whole bundle. And it is my hope that we can put the necessary mechanisms in place to curb the excesses of the PPP in this new year, hold them accountable, apply international pressure. I'm happy my good friend Rickford Burke is here, and I would like to thank him for what he's been doing over the last year in terms of mobilizing the international community, especially in North American region there. So I want to thank him for that especially. But we've got to go back to the table and strategize. We have a new team now, a fairly young team, of course, guided by a very experienced politician. And so we're working out these policy positions, we're working out these strategies of how to deal with them. But I can tell you it will be a fight this year.
I like that.
Chinese people,
Let's fight.
You know me, and I would not be a chairman of the PNC that will just sit and take whatever the PPP push to us and push to the Guyanese public. There are times persons call me. I'm just deviating a little, but persons call me to say, about the approach that we took in Parliament. But what I want to say is that whatever we did, we thought and we continue to think that it was appropriate, at least at that time, given the context of everything that was happening. We were talking about grand theft, the biggest theft of the decade or of this century, our national patrimony. And so we must stand up. There are times when you must have civil disobedience. Martin Luther King, many of the big names across the world stood up to people like the PPP, stood up to racism, stood up to injustice. And so it is our intention to be on the side of the people. We will not take anything off the table. Of course, we are preaching peace, love, and unity in this country, but it doesn't mean that we will sit and have the PPP poke us in our eyes and poke the Guyanese people in their eyes. We will stand on their side regardless to whatever the situation is. We will be on the side of the people. So 2022, I can see it will be a challenging year.
Peace and
It, it definitely will be. But I can say to you that it will be a year when the PNC and the coalition stand up to this PPP administration and curb their excesses.
fantastic. As we wrap up, guys, final thoughts to the Guyanese people as we get more into this new year. We got to confront the Jagabat and catfish install regime. Final thoughts. Rickford?
Well, my final thoughts are those of us who are in the diaspora, we support you guys. We want to make sure that we hold the government accountable. Nobody wants confrontation. Nobody wants to incite conflict. What we want is to end PPP racism. What we want is equitable governance.
Yep.
And when I say equitable governance, we mean equity. The country is equally divided. The PPP doesn't own the country. They don't own the money of the country. They don't own the lands in the country. They don't own the oil in the earth. It belongs to the people of Guyana. And we must stop the PPP from one, stealing the country's money and transferring it to themselves and their supporters only. Guyana belongs to everybody. We must ensure this year that there's equitable governance. We must ensure that the contracts that are given out by the government are given out on an equitable basis. We must ensure that the house lots that they're given out are given out on an equitable basis. There must be equality. There is a provision of the Constitution that is enforceable. Equal protection under the Constitution. And that applies to government policies. So
And
we must
economic,
make sure that we do that. And we must also make sure this year that Guyanese get involved. Don't stay in Guyana and text me and ask me, when is Biden going to get involved and get rid of it? No, you create your own destiny. Come out and join the members of parliament and join the leaders of the coalition to make sure that you fight for your rights. Their inalienable rights, their constitutional rights. I mentioned earlier, the PPP has effectively outlawed protests in Guyana using the COVID emergency measures. That is against the law. It is the right of the people to assemble and to confront their government and to protest peacefully within the ambit of the law. And the Guyanese people must do that. And we must also build a safety net for our people. So when they're abused by the PPP and attacked by the police, there can be consequences, serious consequences. We must not allow the police to abuse our people when they come out and protest. So my recommendation for everybody in 2022, let us hold the PPP's feet to the fire. We, the diaspora, got your back, and you guys must stand up and fight for your own rights.
Love that, Rickford. Thank you so much for the support of the diaspora. Shurwayne.
Thanks for having me.
Sharon, I believe that the Guyanese people want to live in peace and unity. What is the PPP that is creating the conditions for race tensions and for all sorts of other tensions within this country?
Because the wicked stink and dirty.
I want to assure the Guyanese people that the coalition will stand by them in this in these tough times, and we will do all that is necessary to hold them accountable, as Rickford said, to ensure that the resources of this country are distributed in a fair and equitable manner, to ensure that Guyanese generally are treated in a fair way, and we are able to move forward in a way that is that will be beneficial to all Guyanese. That will be at the end of it, it is our task to ensure that all Guyanese benefit. And
fantastic.
That is what we're aiming to do here. I urge them not to be carried away with the propaganda of the PPP, the scare tactics, and as a PNC member, I understand that very well, what the PPP does to us daily, and I want to urge Guyanese to be more involved, as Rickford said, be more involved Let us together hold the government accountable, put the fire to their feet. Together we can do it. That is our aim.
Fantastic. Rickford Burke, president there of the Caribbean Guyana Institute of Democracy in New York, and the new chairman of the PNCR. Good to see you, Shurwayne. Good to have both of you gentlemen on the program. And again, thanks for your guidance and insight on these many issues. Thanks for joining us this evening, guys.
Good night, everybody. Happy New Year.
Fantastic. Happy New Year to you guys as well. Folks, that's our program for this evening. And we can't do it without you. Before you guys go, ensure that you share the live stream. Kwana Mingo, we can't do it without you. I want to hold your umbrella. If you got an umbrella for hold, Kwana, I want to hold your umbrella. We can't do it without you. We need you. Share the live stream. Sonia Massett Cobb, if you got an umbrella for hold, I go hold it. We can't do this thing without you. We need each other, guys. I love that. Again, thank you to my guest this evening, Rickford Burke, the one and only, and also Shurwayne Hole, the chairman of the PNCR. Rickford Burke being the president of the Caribbean Guyana Institute of Democracy in New York. Good to see you, Clive and Audrey. Is it Isaacs? I want to hold y'all umbrella. I love my ringsiders. Y'all got the umbrellas I want to hold. Y'all are the ones I want to shelter. Good to see each and every one of you guys. And if you all see anything on social media where my name being mentioned, where my name calling, oh, y'all send it to me. Y'all see a video, somebody tag me the photograph. Oh, y'all send it to the island man. We name getting called too. We couldn't ask for anything more. This is the nature of the business, folks. It's the nature of the business. Here the row is you umbrella you want carry. Hollis London is you umbrella I want fetch. Idris Williams, Roger Norris, Donald San is y'all umbrella I want to fetch. Wherever you guys are joining us from, guys, come on board and partner with us, the man. Oh, we out here begging. Is who you want we ask? Is our ringsiders? Is y'all people? Is y'all people? No. Is we ringsiders umbrellas weekend. Folks, I want to see them umbrellas in the status. I want to see the umbrellas in the comments. Joylyn Cook, Sheena Hazel, Warnella Garnett, this your umbrella you want carry. It's your umbrella, nobody else's. Nobody else's. Folks, big shout out to Ernest Joseph in New York and all the other fantastic folks joining us. Wherever you guys are joining us from, good to see you. Ann Beverly, I want to carry your umbrella. Selena Fraser, Ainsley Ben Morgan, Diane Graves, Andy, Deirdre Chapman, it's your umbrella I want to carry. Wherever you guys are joining us from, we love each and every one of you from around the world. Wherever you guys are joining us from, as we go, guys, remember you got to social distance, wear your mask, sanitize, practice all the COVID-19 protocols that are in place for your health and your safety, that of your friends, family, and loved ones. Wherever you guys are joining us from around the world, it's our privilege. We got Cash App available to you guys to come on board and partner with us. We got the PayPal, we got MMG, we got MoneyGram, we got Western Union. Yeah. Guys, Pinky Vaughn, we see you under my umbrella. Guys, a good evening to each and every one of you. It's y'all umbrellas I want to carry. It's y'all umbrellas. Respect about us. Guys, have a great evening. That's our program for this evening. Share the live stream, man. Come on. Some of you haven't shared the live stream as yet. Wherever you guys are joining us from this evening, do that for us. It is because of you guys that folks around the world are receiving valid and credible information. And we encourage you to share the live stream. Joylyn Cook, Roll Deep, Jamal Aziz, Rhonda Ferguson, Hulda Thomas, Janet Edwards, Pamela Jarek. Good to see each and every one of you, including Pinky Vaughn, Deborah Halley, Rowena Williams, and Candy Neline Inderjeet. Have a fantastic evening, guys. That's our time. That's our program. Stay safe. Right? And if you see somebody in need of having their umbrella carried, help them out, man. Oh,